All right, welcome back to Thoughts in Stereo. This is episode 15, I believe. Mm-hmm. We just finished New Year's. I know we're going to release this in a few months, but this is our post-New Year's episode. So, hope everyone so far is having a great 2020. Mm-hmm. Nick, how was your New Year's?
It was good. It was pretty chill. Went to a restaurant and then rang in the New Year with my parents.
That's nice.
Yeah,
that's nice. Well, you live in Los Angeles now.
I do. Yeah.
So
I'm back in Toronto.
So you're back in Toronto. How long?
I've been here for a couple of weeks. For 3 weeks now.
Yeah, but
I leave on.
By the time this episode comes out, you're going to be back.
Yeah,
Los Angeles.
I'll probably be back and then back again by the time this episode comes out.
Come back more often. I want to give you a nice.
There we go. The sound got fixed.
Did it?
Yeah.
Sounds a little better.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's nice though. Did you have an enjoyable time
in LA?
Mm-hmm. Are you? Yeah. Like, how's LA been going?
It's been great.
Yeah.
It's been different. It's been a lot of work. Yeah. But a lot of good work.
Are you like set up, or are there still like transition things that you?
No, I'm like fully.
You're there.
I'm fully there.
How long did it take for from like the moment you were like, okay, I'm doing this, to the moment you were like, I'm done moving?
Like you're saying, from the moment that we had the idea.
Well, when the moment you put the idea into action, like you started getting the visa ready, you transferred the bank account, like when was that? How long did that take?
I would say like from putting it into action to moving there, it was like 2 months,
including getting your visa.
Don't have my visa yet. Yeah. Hey.
No, but you're getting it.
No, it's coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's just because I was only going to be there for 3 months before coming home for Christmas, and you're like legally allowed to be there for 6 months or whatever it is. So I just said, I might as well go now instead of wasting another 3 months waiting in Toronto and whatever. So
are you getting your visa through the CFM, Canadian Federation of Musicians?
I have no idea.
No, okay.
My brother
Eric's handling
Eric's handling the whole thing.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, my New Year's was cool. Thanks for asking.
I did ask.
I'm just playing. No, it was cool. I just, saw some friends. I came here to the studio. Wasn't working, but they had set it up real nice. So
nice.
It was an enjoyable time.
That's fun.
By the time this gets released, it'll probably be a few months into 2020.
It'll probably be, if this is 15, it'll probably be
February.
In March.
Like early March though.
Early.
How was January and February for you?
Good. Glad you asked. The first
we're
5 days of January.
No. At this point, it's going to be 2 months in. We're speaking our good, everything that's good. We're speaking it into existence.
Yes. Okay. Fair enough. I got 20 huge placements.
Amazing. Me too. I got like 20 as well. Wow. Look at that. And another 20 on the way.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. Cool. So let's actually get into what the hell we're talking about today. So, obviously, because we stagger episodes, some things are going to come out a bit later, but our lovely listeners, you have given us so many ideas on topics and submitted so many questions to us and, things that you'd love to hear, for us to, touch on experiences in our life or, tips or, how we can
things that we've missed.
Yeah, exactly. So I think today we're just going to go over some of the notes that we've gotten, some of the suggestions and some of the ideas, and just kind of fire through some of the ones that we picked out that I think that would be helpful to most people, and see, if we can kind of tackle them. So we'll just be using this computer to kind of read through some of the ideas we've written down that you guys have submitted. And I guess, should we just start?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so the first one that we have written down are, so label and A&R meetings, how do they go, what to do when you're in one. Nick, do you want to start? Or?
Yeah, label and A&R meetings. They're always kind of weird, I gotta say.
They are.
Like, it's different for us. Like we've said a million times, we signed with Andreas, who's like our homie. To publishing.
Yeah, so with him, it's not really like a...
Yeah, with him, it's not anything to think about.
It's like
we're hanging out, talking, and happen to be talking business.
That's right.
But when you go to like a label or A&R meeting, or, I'm sure you met with other A&Rs for publishing and stuff, that you kind of get there and you feel like, you have to sell yourself and make them believe that, you're worth signing or you're worth whatever, working with or whatever it is that you're there for. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I feel like it's always like it's like an interview almost, and it's kind of awkward. Like,
it is. I agree with you saying it is like an interview. Yeah. It is very much like an interview. I mean, unless you're like super popping.
And, if you're huge, you walk in there, you're like,
yeah,
tell me how much you're gonna give me.
Yeah, like if you're trying to sign a deal, or if you're just walking in to work with artists that are signed to the label. Like if you're super popping, they're gonna give you the most attention. Hey, do you want a water bottle? Like all this, they're going to be super hospitable. When you're not really in that position, which obviously like 95% of people aren't, it can be like pretty daunting. Like you can kind of walk out of a label or A&R meeting feeling like, oh, like what did I do wrong? But like, it's like you said, it is kind of like an interview. Like they are having their everyday meeting with people. Plus they're getting emails, plus they're getting phone calls, plus they're dealing with their artists, like, so you have to go in there ready to stand out.
Yeah.
So you really got to bring the heat when you go into these meetings, or else you're just going to get lost in the wave of everyone else. But on that same note, it is good to meet with them face to face. Because that really does help. That face-to-face element really
changes
does help.
A lot. It changes than just like you being another email.
Yes. Like even if you don't feel like they're giving you good reception, it's really good.
At least they'll remember your face.
Yeah, and then you have the connection regardless. Like you have like, hey, let me get your number. Let me get your email. And the next time you send them to me, like, oh yeah, I remember meeting him or her. He was really good. She was really good. I really liked their personality. Like that's a huge moment to like also get your personality through the door, because a lot of time with a good personality, these A&Rs will hit you up again. These labels will hit you up again. Even if like, maybe you didn't bring like the super next wave, super duper crazy vibes, like whatever they want. But like if you have a good personality, they're going to give you the opportunity.
Anyway, this guy's dope. And now we know what he can do. So we'll call him for what he can do.
Exactly.
I think one thing to always keep in mind with label A&R meetings is make everyone you're meeting with their own playlist. Kind of,
that's
make things catered to each person. Don't just make like one like all my hard beats playlist. Oh yeah, sorry.
Very good.
When you're meeting with one person, look at who their biggest artists are, or the people that you want to work with that are signed to them, and put all of your stuff together that would be perfect for that artist, and then give it to that person specifically. And respectively to the rest of A&Rs.
Exactly. The thing about label and A&R meetings though that are a little frustrating, and that I've found, is that sometimes like, bro, like I'll be like sitting down, like they'll be like, oh sorry, excuse me, oh late night last night.
We boring you, man? No.
Yes. No, but what I found is that I'll be in a meeting sometimes, and like I understand that they're busy, but like, dude, like, so I've had meetings with people like across various labels, across various this and that, where like, I'll sit down, hi, how are you doing, da-da-da, and like I'll play beats the whole time, and they're really not even paying attention.
Yeah.
They're like texting someone back, or like they're like, oh, let me take this call, or it's like, I understand, like, you have busier things to attend.
For sure, but
like, yo, if we're meeting, I'm coming to play you some beats, I'm trying to work with you, I'm trying to get you money, like, don't just, I literally have had A&R meetings where I've played like maybe 19 beats, maybe like 15, whatever, something around there, 16, and like they have not looked up from their phone once, but they'd be like, yeah, that's cool, put it aside, but they don't really seem interested in it. So it's like mad frustrating. So I'm like, is it me, or
I've definitely been in a meeting like playing a song, like playing one that I'm really pumped about. I'm like, yo, they're gonna like this one. This is the one. They're gonna love this one.
Yeah.
And I would start playing it, and then like someone walks by their office, and they're like, hey, Janine, come in here for a second. Let me talk to you about something. And then they like talk right through your song. And you're just like, oh man.
Yeah. And then you're just like, did I pause
you're like, I don't want to restart it because I don't want to make them feel bad. Like, maybe they are one of those people that can listen and talk at the same time. I don't know. Like, so I can't do that.
I don't know. If that was me at that point, I just like move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Like, sick. All right. Good to know.
Whatever.
No, but it's just like one of those things where you, regardless of the situation, regardless of whether or not they're listening, they're on their phone, whether or not you feel they're disrespecting you.
You go in the room with them.
You go in the room with them, and that's a huge thing. But you can't become disrespectful. You can't. You still have to act accordingly.
Yeah.
Because maybe when they don't think you're worth their time right now, and that's fair, because this is a game of, look, I'm gonna invest my time and money into you. I want a good return. And maybe if you got a meeting through a favor, or just because you did one record and they're like,
Yeah.
okay, well, you did one record, like, maybe it's just a fluke or something. Like every time you do one big record, everyone thinks
It's a fluke.
It's a fluke.
Every time.
You got to prove yourself every single day that it's not just a fluke. So anyway, if they're not paying attention, you still got to keep it cordial. You still got to keep it respectful, because at the end of the day, these are the same people that are going to help you later down the line if you maintain the relationship, or if you start to get bigger, they're going to be more inclined to help you. And if you've left a bad taste in their mouth, they're, no matter what, they're not going to be that willing to help you.
Yeah.
So kind of is one of those situations where, like, you just have to sit there and take it pretty much. Like, if they're being that way, like, there are some, like, don't get me wrong, there's definitely some A&Rs, some labels, people that are like they really listen. They are very invested into the meeting. They really want to help, and they're just great people.
Yeah.
And those are the meetings where you're like, yeah, like, okay, cool. I walked out of that. I feel good, but. You have to get through the mix of both, the interview style ones and then the hang style ones. But there's definitely been some times where I've walked out of a meeting.
They're always going to be different.
Yeah, like it depends on the person. It's always going to be different. Like there's definitely, like, there was one time I had a meeting in LA and I walked out of it, I'm like, wow, like that was pretty whack. Like,
yeah.
I didn't, like, I was respectful, like I was good, but like
in your head you were just like,
I was like, damn, like in the meeting I was like, this is pretty whack, like whatever. But anyways, I kept playing beats. I was like, thanks for meeting with me, dude, da 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 da. I left, and I'm like chilling. I'm like, okay, like whatever, just another whack meeting. I kind of stayed in contact, and then I realized that the person is just like a dry person. Like it's not that he wasn't interested, he's just dry. Exactly.
Hate that. I'm not hate that in the sense of like hate those people. I hate that in the sense of when you can't read someone, and then you read them wrong.
Yeah,
you're like,
I should have known wrong. Yeah, I shouldn't have made.
I should have given the benefit of the doubt.
Exactly. Like I shouldn't have. Like it was like a Bill Murray type situation. Like Bill Murray is like a dry ass person, and like if you meet with him, like you're like, damn, like am I boring this guy? But he's just dry. But like. Yeah, so anyways, I walked out of that meeting, and then I was like, damn, like, whatever. And then a few months later, like, we were sending stuff, and we were getting feedback. Like, we were like, yeah, this is cool. This is nice. Like, keep sending. And now we got one, and by the time this airs, it should be out. So
oh, sick.
Yeah, so
nice.
And it was like a pretty exciting placement. So it's one of those situations where, like,
can you say
what it is?
Yeah. I don't know. It's a weird gray area.
I just want to know, like, if it comes out or if it gets delayed.
Yeah. Okay, so wait, just
it's redacted right now. The name is beep. So the placement is with beep.
Fire. Check it on Spotify.
Yeah, check it out right now. But yeah, so you really, I mean, I guess the takeaway is, regardless of the situation, just be cordial. Play the most fire shit that you think fits with that label. Regardless, just go into it with a good mindset and leave with a good mindset. It's hard sometimes. I know everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, it's easier said than done." Yes, it is.
Like you hear about like artists like walking out on meetings. You should be like, "No, I didn't like that," and like show like, I don't need to be here. I can walk out. No one likes that shit. Yeah, don't do that shit.
That's the truth. Like with artists, artists have more leniency versus producers, because artists. Like labels see artists as like more of a way to make money.
Yeah.
Like they're like, we'll sign you, we'll take half of all your shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so with labels, like artists have that leniency where they'll be like,
yes,
I'm out of here. And like, they'll be like, that was a dick move, but like, we want to make that platinum record.
We can't say anything because he's going to make his hits.
Yeah. Like it's still going to happen. Like, so versus, this producer, she walks into the room, amongst 10,000 other people, and they're like, okay, what do you have to offer me?
Yeah.
And if she walks out of the room, they're gonna be like, okay, call up the next guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, so just make sure, if you want to, for labeling in our meetings, it's really not about, yes, it's about the music, but I'd say the music is second to making a good personal impression, because they can really help and put you in positions, regardless of whether or not like you play any beats that they think are good for their artist. If they see that you're talented and you're hard worker and you leave a good personal impression, I think that's more important than anything.
Yep.
So that would be that's all I have to say about that, in the words of Forrest Gump. And that's all I have to say about that. You want to add anything?
Well, no. I think we covered it.
Okay.
We'll go on to...
what's the next one?
What steps to take when you get your first placement? I think this is a good one, and I think it's very situational. I think, if you get your first placement and you have no publisher, no manager, and you just like kind of got it off of not a fluke, but like you got it yourself by just like grinding.
You grinded and you got it.
I think the first step would be to go and at least sit with publishers or maybe your local performance royalty organization. Yeah. Like if you're in America, it's BMI and ASCAP. If you're in Canada, it's SOCAN. And
I think that's the first thing. If you're not already,
that's what I did first was SOCAN.
Yeah, as Canadians, if you're not already signed up with these companies,
SOCAN is
incredible. They have so many resources. There's so many things to help you. Yeah. Their office is in North York.
Yeah.
But you don't have to go to their office. You can just sign up online.
Yeah, you can sign up online. They send you like a thing like a package in the mail that you just like fill out all these papers and whatever. But I honestly can't believe we haven't talked about this on the podcast actually, because I'm a big SOCAN advocate.
Yes, he is.
I love SOCAN. They did so much for me when I was first getting going in like the songwriting world. I went in and sat with them and just played them some music, and Andreas, who's now our publisher, went out on a whim for me and kind of put me in a writing camp because he used to work for them, and he threw me into this writing camp that I had no business being at. And it was great. I met everyone that I still work with today. And
really?
Yeah. All the writers there, I still...
Yeah, they do have a good amount of writing camps. They have like places in LA. They
have a house in LA, a house in Paris, a house in Montreal, a house in Nashville that you can stay at for free if you're a SOCAN member. You just have to like email them a couple months, like 2 months ahead, 2-3 months ahead, and just be like, yo, I'm staying here this 10 days.
Like, can you help me out?
Yeah, and they'll be like, yep, sure, stay here. And they have studios inside of the offices, and I know they have like a mini studio inside the LA house. But honestly, if you're not signed up with SOCAN, first priority, pause this episode, go sign up with SOCAN and resume the episode.
It's true. There's there's also a lot of people that aren't Canadian that are signed to SOCAN.
Yeah. I know a couple.
Yeah,
sure.
Me too.
Because it's really good. It's just like the best PRO.
They're so good. But anyways, the point that you want, like the reason why you want to sign up with SOCAN is because they're going to be the ones giving you your PRO money. So like, is it mostly radio stuff? It's like
it's all
public performance.
Yeah.
So radio, concerts, what else? Various things. Like I don't want to say anything.
Radio
that's
and concerts. Yeah, that's the main. That's the main one, and just publishing in general.
So those are the people that are going to be paying you a lot of the royalties, not the label royalties, but the PRO royalties. There's two types. We'll get into that in a later episode. We should do a whole episode on that. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to get into it right now because we can talk about that for an hour.
Yeah.
But anyways, like do the research, our lovely listeners, please, because that'll help you out so much. But yes, so when you say you've gone to record, it's blowing up, you don't have a manager, you don't have a publisher, you don't have any of this kind of stuff, you haven't signed up, that should be your first step. Sign up. The label or the artist should register you on their PRO, I want to say. Usually, yes. I don't think usually the producer signs themselves.
I mean, if you're unpublished, I think everyone does it for themselves.
Is it?
Yeah, like when I was unpublished, I put everything on myself, and if someone else, it's hard to explain because if people don't know, it gets confusing.
Yeah, so we have to dedicate a whole episode to this now that
we'll bring someone in from SOCAN.
Yes, now that we're actually talking about it, now I realize we should dedicate a whole episode to this because that's a huge topic. But just
basically, you register your song so then they know who to be paying, what percentage.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
The point is, in short, if you have a big record, sign up with your PRO. Meet with them if you're confused. They're more than happy to meet with anybody. Even when I had no placements or anything, they were like,
I had no releases.
Yeah, they were like, come by, meet us, da-da-da. So just email them, like find an email on the website or, something like that. Just be like, hey, I've just had this record come out. It's kind of blowing up. I'm not sure what to do. And in my experience, people, at least from SOCAN, they are so good to hit me back and to be like, they were so good to hit me back and be like, let's get you set up this way and this is how you do this and this is how you do that. So I think that would be your first step. And then second of all, just start like marketing the shit out of it. Like,
yeah, when you get your first, make sure everyone knows you produced that song.
Yeah, if you produce this song that's blowing up, you have to blast the fact that you produced this all over your social media, because sometimes, most of the time, the artist won't tag you in the posts on Instagram or on Twitter. So make sure that you're commenting on the post, being like, produced by me, or like your story.
Glad to be a part of this one.
Yeah, glad to be a part of this one. Like, if you have a small budget, like, geez, like $40, $50, like, go on Instagram, make a post about how you produced it, and then like promote the post. Like, there's so many things you can do, but that helps so much. Right. Like, that leverage that you can get off that first big song can really start something that carries you quite a bit of ways. So, once you get your royalty situation figured out through SOCAN or BMI or ASCAP, then the next step is, okay, now I have to make sure that, especially if you have no manager, no publicist, now people have to know that I produced this, and that's on you, because you can be silent. Like, you can just, if you're not a big social media person, you make one post, be like, hey, I produced this, but like, what is that going to do for you? So make sure you're really out here marketing yourself. That's a huge thing. And then
I'm trying to think what I did. I mean,
use that as an opportunity to build with more artists. Like, start DMing people, or messaging people like, hey, I just produced this record. Let me send you some stuff. DM them on Instagram, DM them on Twitter, like at them on Twitter. Like, you'd be surprised on how many times you could DM someone on Instagram with be like a short message, be like, hey, my name's so and so, I just produced this and that. I'd love to send you some stuff. And then I
just did a couple of those to like 12 people, like 12 different writers.
Did you get any responses?
None.
Really?
No. Yeah, but like,
usually you put out 100, you get like 5 back.
Yeah. That seems like the return rate.
But 5 back is, if those are the
more
right 5
than
people,
none. So.
Yeah, facts. And if they're the right 5 people, then that's good.
Exactly.
So make sure you do your research on the A&Rs, the people that aren't just the artists, like their managers, their assistant to the manager, this, that. There's so many people around that could send your beats. So, and as soon as you say, hey, I produced this record, and I produced this, and I want to send beats to your artist, if they're like, oh, I like that record, it's as easy as that to get a response. So I think those are my number 1 and number 2 on what to do if when you get your first placement. Do you have anything to add?
SOCAN and maybe, if that's your first placement, if you enjoyed working with the artist, keep working with that artist.
Yeah.
You put a song on with them, which means they like what you do.
Yeah.
Get back in the room with them as many times as possible. Get back in the room when they're in the room with their friends that are also artists.
Yes.
And then work with those people.
That's good. That's a good point. Yeah. So to continue building with that one artist, because if it's like this artist's first big song and it's your first big song, this is the start of something, like you can build something together.
Yeah.
And that's a huge, huge, huge thing. So definitely try to, like, if it was like one of those situations where the artist bought one of your beats off of YouTube or BeatStars or something.
Yeah, it's a little different.
It's a little different, but still reach out. Be like, hey, I produced this for you. Like, let's actually like in person work. Because I'm sure they'll be willing to. I'm quite positive no artist would say no to doing that.
Yeah.
So definitely do that, and then use that as an opportunity to link with more artists. And if you really hustle and grind it out, that could really, be a pathway to many, many different people.
Do the same thing with the second placement and the third placement and the fourth and the 150th.
No, it doesn't
keep
end.
Going. Yeah,
it doesn't end. So keep building your resume and keep using that as leverage to get into more rooms. I think that these are just kind of short ansers. We're not doing a full thing. I think that's what I would.
These are just like
say.
anytime we've posted on our story or just like a post on Instagram, we've asked a couple times to just like send us some topics you want to hear, anything that you feel like we've missed. So we're just going to be giving short answers. I mean, keep sending, we'll keep getting some, and we'll keep asking.
We'll do like little touches.
We'll do episodes like this where we're just answering questions a couple more times, and we'll just, keep going. We want to make sure you guys know everything. The next one would be dealing with meeting favorite artists, avoid starstruck behavior.
Oh, okay. So like how to deal with like meeting, like say you run into J. Cole or Drake, like.
I know you have a fire story.
Do I?
Yeah.
I was starstruck. I remember the first time I was ever starstruck.
When was it?
And it's so like, I wasn't ready, like, and I guess it kind of worked out in the way of me being not ready to talk to this person yet. Because if I had shown them my beats, they would have been like, okay, like, ass. Or at least I think that, but who knows? Anyways, I was at Toronto Pearson Airport, which for our American and outside of GTA listeners, YYZ, it's like the main airport for Toronto. And I had just gone back. I was young. I must have been like 14 or 15.
Nice.
I was not. I think it was around that age, give or take a couple of years in either direction. But yeah, I was probably 13 or something there. I was young. I just remember being young. And I had gotten back from a family vacation, and we were waiting for a taxi because obviously Uber wasn't a thing yet. And we were waiting by the curb for a taxi, and I just looked over to my left, and I saw Hit Boy. Nice. With like the people that he was with, probably like a manager, he had quite a few people with him. But I was like, obviously up and coming, so I was studying everyone. I'm like, oh my God, that's Hit Boy. Like, and this was when he just did, like, he was on a pretty crazy run. Click, he was doing stuff for Kanye, Jay, and Beyonce, like all that kind of stuff. That was
his moment.
Yeah. So I was like, wow, okay, Hit Boy. So I remember I told my family, I was like, oh my God, like, guys, like, I know you guys don't care, but like that's Hit Boy, like that's a really big producer, and like, whatever. And I literally I kind of started walking over to him, and I was like, nah, like it's just I shouldn't say anything, like like he's probably
there's nothing
tired.
I could say right
no, but
now.
I was like, I just got too scared. I was like, he's probably tired from his flight, like I'll bother him, like da-da-da.
Yeah.
I was young. At this point I would definitely say something.
Yeah.
Even if I had no placements, but now that I've realized like the power of like
what's
saying
up?
something, saying something. But yeah, I just remember like that was the first time, and I was in the taxi driving, and I was like, oh, I should have said something.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Literally, feeling. Like literally 5 seconds later, I was
had that.
I really should have. Yeah, so it was one of those situations where it wasn't worth it. Like it wasn't worth it for me not to say something.
Yeah.
Like, even if I just said, hey, I'm a fan. Like that goes so far. So how to avoid that is basically, have you ever been starstruck like that?
Yeah.
What's your story? Before we get into how to avoid that.
I don't have like any one story, but I just like remember
when you met me. I know.
Yeah. Big moment, man. No, I remember there was a festival in Toronto called Solaris Festival, and it was like Deadmau5 and Steve Angelo and whatever, all the big people at the time. Tiesto was playing and whatever, and it was just, I wanted to meet all those guys. They were all my idols, and I would die to meet any of them. And a friend of mine that's also a DJ producer in Toronto, his manager, which I didn't know at the time, was like, oh, yo, I can get you guys backstage. And I was like, there's no way. He's like, yeah, I know Steve Angelo. I can get you guys backstage. I was like, oh, this might be the moment.
Yeah, like this is.
I gotta go home and pick my outfit. I like literally went home and I was like, I know that they always wear black, so I'm not gonna always wear black. I like overthought everything.
But he was over here thinking.
I was so overthinking it. And I got there, and I remember they actually got us backstage, and we walked into Steve Angelo's trailer, and there he is with like some friends.
There he is, the Steve Angelo himself.
Everyone's drinking. He doesn't drink anymore, so he wasn't drinking, but he was just chilling. I remember walking in, just being like, oh. Hey.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey man, how's it going? Like, nice to meet you. All this stuff. He was super cool, and you know,
like, okay.
My brother was like, oh yeah, Nick makes music, because he came with me, and I was like, oh yeah. He's like, oh, how's music going? I said, I'm having a hard time finishing anything. He goes, nothing's ever finished, man. Just send it to me. Don't worry. And I was like, oh.
You're like, oh. That's awesome though. That's nice.
Yeah, that was a big moment for me.
Well, how old were you? Just last year.
I was 15.
Yeah, so
if you search my name on like I've like searched to try and find photos of me from like SoCan Awards, whatever, and like Getty Images popped up. It's a picture of me and my buddy that we went to, and it was at that show.
That's
and
hilarious.
It was like a Getty thing. I don't know. Whatever.
That's so it's like Getty Images stock image. Like,
yeah.
You search like two guys at a show, and
yeah,
it's like you
exactly.
and your buddy like thumbs up. It's like yay.
So dumb.
That's good though. So okay, yeah. So I guess at this point, the only advice I would give to, kind of avoid the starstruckness is the worst that you can hear from someone is a no. And the worst that you can get from someone is just like being ignored. But that doesn't mean that like your career's over or like you're like take every shot. Like, of course, in the words of Wayne Gretzky, and then again in the words of Michael Scott, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So I think it's so important. Like, even if you're like, you see someone.
Sorry. This thing keeps popping every time I move it.
You're good.
Trying to get comfy.
Even if you see someone, like you're walking on the street, you see J. Cole, or you see like someone that you really fuck, like, you know, you see Steve Angelo, or you see Deadmau5, or you know, if you're a young electronic producer and you look up to these guys, you know, you just go up and say, hey, I'm a fan. You know, you can bring up the fact that you make music or not. That's up to you. Sure, shoot your shot, but also read the situation. There's times where you can just go up to someone and be like, hey, you know, I'm a fan. I'd love to connect with you. Like, I do music. Or you just be like, hey, you know, just to let you know, you really inspired me when I was just starting out to be a producer, and thank you for that. And then that's all you have to say.
One thing I know that people don't like when they're like influential people, like celebrities or whatever, they don't like when you just come up and you're like, hey, can I get a picture? And then you take a photo and then you just walk and you're just like, thanks, and you leave.
Yeah,
like,
it's like
all you wanted from them was that
clout.
post.
Yeah, the clout.
You didn't talk to them. Like,
no.
There was one time, I have a friend that's an actor,
Jess,
and I was in Venice with him, in LA, and we're just walking on the boardwalk, and like some girls saw him.
He's a well-known actor, then.
Yeah. Okay. It's it doesn't matter. It's Ansel Elgort.
That's right. You know Ansel.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a cutie pie.
Yeah, he's a cutie pie.
Okay.
He looked good. The Golden Globes last night.
Was he there?
Yeah.
Because he makes music.
He does make music.
That's
how we met, yeah.
That's right. Okay, so you were chilling with him.
So anyways, I was chilling with him. I was walking with him down Venice Beach, and a couple girls saw him, and they run up, and they're like, oh my God, Ansel, let's take a photo. And he takes a photo, and they just walk away, and he's like, what? You're not going to ask me how I am? Like, how's my days going?
Did he say that?
And they were like, oh, sorry. And he was like, no, I'm just saying, like, you don't have to like come up to someone, take a photo with them, and just not talk to them. Like, I'm a person. You know, you can come and talk to me.
That's crazy.
And they were like, I'm so sorry. And he was like, no, I'm just saying, like, don't feel bad about it or anything. I'm just telling you, like, you know, I don't want to just be a photo. Like,
yeah,
you know, I've got a personality too.
That's crazy, because I think for some people it's a mix of
they don't want to bug them.
They don't want to bug them.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, they want to be like.
It's not out of like, I don't want to talk to this person, I just want a photo. It's not like that.
Yeah, I think for some people it might be like that, but I think the most majority, they're just like, can I make this as quick for the person as possible to show them not only I'm a fan, but to also show everyone that I know that I like ran into this person, like that I'm a big fan. But that's interesting. Like, he seems like a cool guy.
He is super cool.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Yeah, it's so I don't think I would ever run up to someone and be like, yo, let's take a pic
and then dip.
Like, if I ran into like, I keep using this example because I feel like
if there was like 100 people around waiting to take photos, then I'd just take a photo and leave.
Yeah, but like if that was like a VIP section of a concert, and then it's like, you get one picture, and then it's like, sick, all right, for sure. But if it's like, if I see like Drake in Toronto, I'm like, yo, what's up, man? Like, big fan, da da da.
He's gonna be like, obviously.
He's like, oh, do you live here? Yeah, obviously. But it's like, yeah, thanks for everything. I don't think I would ever really even ask for a picture.
Yeah.
I would just be like, because a lot of the time now celebrities are so upset with that, because now I think more than ever people just want that picture to post on their social media, and I just like, I don't think I would, because what am I going to get out of that picture? For me, like posting on my Instagram, like, what am I going to say? Working with Drake, even though I really just ran into him on the street, and then I just was like, hey, I'm a big fan, take a picture with me.
Yeah.
You know what
or like people do that shit. They take that photo and they post it, be like, big things coming.
Yeah, we're working. Like, I'm like, bro, like, you ran into him at a Foot Locker on like Queen Street. Like, chill. Like, what do you mean, dog? Like, you know. So like, I think that when I take pictures, like, the only time I've ever asked a producer or an artist to take a picture with them is if we're in the studio and we've actually done a song or two songs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is like warranted. Like, now this is okay.
Now they're not gonna like be weird taking a photo with me.
Right. But in terms of just going back to wrap this one up, in terms of being starstruck, it happens. Don't feel like ashamed about it if you get starstruck. It happens. But just try to like just know that these guys are humans. Like, you know, some of them might be in a shit mood.
Very easy.
That's fine. Yeah. Like there's our times, they'll be in a shit mood. They won't want to do anything. And then what are you going to get? You're going to hear a no, and then you're going to be maybe sad for 5 minutes, and then like in a week from now you're going to forget that even happened.
Yeah.
So like just, you know, shoot your shot, say hello, say I'm a fan.
Hey, guess what? You still have a story to tell your friends.
Exactly. No, exactly. And then, you know, for the next time you meet that person, they're gonna be like, hey, I remember that one time you said you're a fan. Like, I remember your face.
Yeah.
So I think that's, you know, in terms of, that's my advice.
I don't think you need to avoid, just because the question was avoid starstruck behavior. I don't think you need to avoid it.
Yes.
I think you just got to learn how to like manage it and how to use the best of those opportunities and read the situation, whether it's, you know, you're going to tell them that you make music, you're going to ask for their email, you know, depending who it is, stuff like that. So yeah, just be mindful about who they're with, what they're doing. Take all that into account first before talking to someone.
Exactly.
Biggest regrets and missed opportunities with a big artist.
Do you have any?
Yeah.
This is you.
I do.
This is a you
answer. Have one. Oh, I forget who it was now. It was like, it was something like, it's literally, I would say the name, I just don't remember what it was, but I just remember my brother was telling me, yo, you should be going to this thing, like you should be going to this party or whatever it was, or was it like Grammy? Oh, I have a really good one. I have a really, really good one.
Here we go. Got it.
Sorry. This is a different one now. So I went to a party. One of my friends got me into like a post Grammy party one time, and I didn't know where we were going. I didn't know what we were doing. We just pull up to this big house in LA, and walk inside. There's a DJ booth, and I kind of see this guy with a big afro DJing, and I was like, "What's going on here? Who is that?" And I look, it's the guy from Major Lazer. And
oh yeah.
Like, oh shit, I forget his name. I was like, "Oh my god, that's dope. This guy's here. Like that's really sick." So we're having some drinks, walking around, went outside, came back inside. We go back in, and in the DJ booth now is Diplo, Halsey,
oh my god,
Tory Lanez,
oh my god,
Benny Blanco,
Jesus,
and Lil Dicky, all standing in the DJ booth.
Okay.
So what does my friend do? Walks right up to Diplo and goes, yo, you remember me from this thing, blah, 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 blah. It was a girl. So she's like, oh, remember me from this thing? He was like, yeah, come back here. He was inviting her back. And then she just goes, yeah, Nick, come. And Diplo goes, like literally visually goes, fuck.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Because like he was inviting her back and not me. But I snuck my way back.
He must have thought you guys were like dating.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But you guys weren't.
No. And we get into this DJ booth area. And at the time, I said all those people were in there, like Benny Blanco and Lil Dicky and shit. I had no idea who anyone was. I didn't know who Benny Blanco was. I knew Diplo.
Oh, was this a while back?
Yeah, this is like 3 years ago. I didn't know Diplo, or I didn't know Benny Blanco. Didn't know Tory Lanez, but I knew Lil Dicky.
Okay.
And I knew Diplo. That was it.
Okay, but that's still. I mean, that's still
great. But even at the time, I didn't know what to say to these people. So I'm standing. I remember I was standing in the DJ booth. Everyone's jumping around, and Tory Lanez is jumping, steps on my foot, and turns to me and goes, sorry, bro," and keeps dancing. And I'm just like, I don't know who this person is. I had no idea.
Thanks.
Yeah, but big missed opportunity there.
Yeah, but you didn't know.
I didn't know. It's true. It's not missed. That was just a cool story. With big artists.
I mean, in terms of regrets, do I have any? I feel like I've been pretty good at not having any regrets or missed opportunities, because I don't really think about any interaction as a missed opportunity. Like, as long as you get to say hi to someone, as long as you say hi and like get a face to a name, like I think that's already a win. So I think in terms of like regrets or missed opportunities, we'd probably just be like my Hit Boy story. Like just be like, yeah, I didn't go and say something.
I think there was times at camps where there was like writers that I really wanted to work with that I just didn't go up to them and was like, I just didn't want to bug them. I didn't want to be like,
hey.
I wanted to seem on the same level.
Yeah, you have to act like you've been there before.
I didn't want to walk up and be like, oh my God, I'm a huge fan of your writing. I really want to get in the room.
Yeah. And I think that there's a fine line between totally being a fanboy and then being on the same level. I think you can still go up to someone and be like, hey, I'm a big fan.
For sure.
But there's a way to do it. Like, you don't just want to be like, oh my God, I'm such a big fan. Like, oh, please do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go be like, hey man, like, I'm Nick. I produce this, that, and the next thing. I'm a big fan of yours. I'd love to work. I think like starting with also listing your accolades is like super heavy.
I never know how to do that. Like, do I walk and be like, hey, how's it going? I'm Nick, and I've produced this on this. Like,
so the way I do it is I'll be like, if I were to see someone, I'd be like, hey, what's going on, artist? I'm Bijan, bro. Like, I did Ric Flair drip. I did this, that. You know, I'd love to work with you. That's how you do it. Like, hey, I'm Bijan. I produce this. I'd love to work with you, because as soon as they hear a song that they like that you produce,
they're listening.
They're way more interested in what you're saying. If you come up and be like, hey, let me send you beats, they're gonna be like, okay, like, why?
Yeah,
they're gonna be like, okay, but like, they're gonna think to themselves, why? But if you come up and be like, hey, I produce this, or I produce that, or I'm starting, like, I'm trust me, or even if you don't have any big placements, you go up to them and be like, hey bro, like, I'll send you some shit that'll blow your mind, like, trust me. You first of all, you got to make sure that you do some shit to blow their mind, but if you get them interested like that, like, chances are, you know, they're gonna give you something. Like, they'll extend the olive branch. They'll give you the email or the phone number.
Yes.
So I don't think I don't like to look at anything as a regret or missed opportunity. If I said something to the artist, if I just said hi, I think that's still a win.
Yep.
So I think that's all I have to say about that.
Next is how to act in a studio session, and I think we've touched on this.
Yeah, we have. Just cordially.
Yeah.
Just know where you're at.
Know where you're at. You know who else is in the room relative to you.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, if there's a big producer in the room that's running a session, don't try and take over the session. You know, if there's a big artist that's an incredible writer, and singer, or rapper,
if you want to help with the writing, be like, hey bro, like, do you mind if I?
Hey, do you write with other people?
Yeah.
Hey, you cool if I get on this?
Yeah.
Yo, you want some help, or
I have an idea for a line. Do you have that? And then half the time, like, a lot of time, like, even if they say no, like, you it doesn't mean that that's like you're one and done. Like, you could still suggest stuff. Like, I've been in the room with like artists and songwriters
for sure,
and I've suggested like something to a line, and they'd be like, yeah, sick, amazing, and there'd be time like, nah, I don't think that fits, and I'm like, okay, cool, like, let's try it again. You know what I'm saying? So I really think that, you know, you can't walk into like a room where you're not big dog and act big dog status.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It'll
I
rub
think,
some people the wrong way.
Yeah.
And it just kind of ruins it. And like, if you're there with someone else, like, say a big producer invites you to a session, and then you walk in and act like you're the sick, like, hey, like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, you walk in like, oh, listen to my shit, like, that's a bad look on that producer, so they'll be pissed at you, and that's a bad look on you in general. So everyone is just gonna be like, who is this guy?
Yeah,
and then that person who invited you is gonna be double upset.
She's not gonna bring you back.
No. So I think the etiquette.
There's a thing on our Instagram with the caption says know your position.
Yeah.
And it's like a couple minutes all on this.
What?
Next is...
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Facts. What's the next one?
Don't aim for placements. Aim to work with as many people as you can and build yourself and others up.
Exactly. So I think it's important. Placements are important.
Yes.
Definitely important. But you shouldn't only aim for placements.
Yes.
You should definitely focus on building with artists. And I've talked to so many producers. They're like, how do I get my beats to Drake? How do I get... Like, bro, ma'am, first of all, okay, like, you're thinking...
Is ma'am the equal to bro?
I don't know. I don't know what to say. Like,
I know.
Like, listen... Person. I'm just gonna say person. Listen, person. First of all, that should not be your mindset. Yeah. When you have no placements, and you shouldn't just be like, your sole goal is to get a beat to Drake or to J. Cole.
Yeah.
You know, yes, like, that is that's a long-term goal, sure, and that's a good if you want to do that, great. I'm not saying don't want to do that, but, like, you know, focus on building with people around you. Like, you don't, like, there was a point where Kendrick Lamar was rapping in his basement in Compton.
And people were like, nah, not feeling him.
Is he from Compton? I just said that. I'm not 100. I think, but I'm not 100% sure. I think he is though. But again, for some reason I don't remember.
I think so too.
Yeah, for some reason it's
at the end of Straight Outta Compton. He's chilling with Dr. Dre.
Yeah, and I think that was like
at some place in Compton.
I think that was like a look. But anyways, besides the point, I just want to make sure that I'm not giving false information. But there was a point where Kendrick Lamar was rapping in a basement, and people were aiming to work with Dr. Dre. Yeah. But Kendrick Lamar was right there, and he was available. People were like, "Oh, it's this kid K Dot. Like, what am I gonna do with this guy? Yeah. He's selling no records." Mm-hmm. But say there was a person that got in with him back then and continued to rock with him.
And you know what? Someone did that. Someone had Kendrick's first big record.
Yeah, there was somebody that produced that. Same with like Boy Wonder and Drake, 40 and Drake. Drake at one point was an actor. And then he was like, I'm going to start rapping. And everyone was like, yeah, right. Yeah. But Boy Wonder, I don't know who was, it was 40 or Wonder first, but one of them, or even Minus, but one of them was like, yes, I will be the guy to produce for you. Yep. And look at Drake. He's been rocking with the same producer since he first started.
That's sick.
First started.
That's really sick.
Like there's pictures of Boy Wonder and Drake and 40 and Drake from like 2008 when Drake just got off of the grad. You know what I'm saying?
That's 12 years ago.
Yeah. So I'm like, there's a benefit, yes, to set yourself a goal. I want to work with Drake. Yes, but look at what's going on in your city, what's going on Twitter, the world is so small with social media. So look at who's posting what. Just because they don't get 10,000 plays, 100,000, 1 million plays, doesn't mean they're not sick. Like I said, at one point, these guys were not selling any records, and now they're the biggest artists in the world. Mm-hmm. So, and even further than this, yes, because Kendrick, when he was K-Dot, was not rapping like he is now. Kendrick is an incredible rapper, but maybe when he was K-Dot, he wasn't rapping as crazy as he is now. But you have to be able to take the chance on someone, see potential, and help mold them into the artist that they are. That's the job of the producer. So, don't, just because they're not like on some next wave shit, doesn't mean that they won't eventually be there one day. Mm-hmm. People grow. Your beats from 3 years ago, my beats from 3 years ago, I would consider them trash compared to the beats now. Yeah. But did I want people to take a chance on me 3 years ago?
At that time, I was like, yo, these are the best things ever. Fact. These are the best things I've ever done.
So I was proud of them, and I wanted people to take a chance on me. So it shouldn't be any different for an artist. You shouldn't expect to walk in to meet an artist, and he or she is already at, worldwide talent level. Yeah. There's building that needs to be done on all fronts. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the most important thing.
I think.
Should we do one? Look. You want to do one more really good one?
I think there's two down here.
Okay, let's do two more.
1 second, guys. Oh, okay, that's a good one. The importance of self-love and awareness before acquiring fame and success.
Before acquiring fame and success, the importance of self-love.
Yeah, I think no one can plan for fame and success.
There's no way.
I'm sure a lot of people want it, and everyone wants it and wishes for it, but no one can say this is when. Yeah, and I gotta figure out. That's just the plan,
and then on this date, I'll become famous and successful.
I think always self-love and awareness is always important. Yes, and this is, I think, something I've learned over the past couple months. It's just like learning to. It sounds so like cliche, and I hear it all the time, and I never used to like think about anything of it. But like living in the moment is a very, very big thing that helps me now. Yeah. Like if I'm overthinking stuff, I'm a big time overthinker, big time. And recently, I've just been like, fuck it, I can't control it anyways. So why think about this, and just try and distract myself with something else. But I think being extremely happy with yourself and who you are as a person is just going to help you at whatever you're doing, even if it's not music. Yeah. If you're doing anything, if you're happy and comfortable with you as a person and how you act and how people perceive you or whatever, then I mean, you're good. You'll be fine at whatever. Like if it's so simple. It sounds so simple to talk about,
Yeah. There's a lot of elements to it. It's hard. And there's days where yes, you feel like you're on top, and there's days where you feel like you're on the bottom. Yeah. But I think the biggest thing to just try to keep in mind. Like, I know it's, again, easier said than done, but the thing, and that's still, to me, to this day, like, I still struggle with the same things that people with no placement struggle with.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop, So, I think the biggest thing to keep in mind is, like, look at where you were a year ago and look where you are now.
Yeah.
And then just I feel like I always get a nice confidence boost because I know that I've grown.
Yeah.
I know that I've made these connections. And just know that hard work, if you put that in, even if you're not seeing results in a year, in 2 years, it's going to happen. If you put in the work in the networking and in your craft, it's going to happen. Like, it's almost a guarantee. Like, the only thing that you would have to do to, like, mess it up is being a shit person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in my opinion, you can't plan for success, but working damn hard and just having a good personality and networking is, like, pretty much a guarantee. Like, not a guarantee, but, like, that's your plan for success.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
try and stay happy.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't control it, but just try.
I'm not trying to say, like, every day you're going to be happy as all sin. And, like, no, like, there's going to be days where you're not happy, and there's going to be days where you're sad and, feeling like you're nothing. Everyone goes through that. So you just take care of yourself. Don't let that, exercise a little. Like, don't just sit in and make beats. I think one of the things that made me upset or, like, made me feel bad is if I literally just locked myself in a room and made beats all day. There's working hard and then there's overworking.
Yes.
If you don't get out, get some air, get some exercise, see a friend, see your family once in a while, and we talk about this all the time, you can still grind super hard and still get that in. There's 24 hours in a day. If you were making beats from, like, 12 p.m.
24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
If you make beats for 8 hours, if you hang out with friends and family for 8 hours and you sleep for 8 hours, that's 24 hours.
Yeah. So, like, that's
a long time to sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of things you can do, like, and that's variable, but there's so many ways that you can keep, like, yourself happy. And, if you make beats for 8 hours every single day,
nuts.
Even 8 hours, like, that's a lot.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah. Like, and there's people that go from, like, 12 to 12 or, like, 12 to 2 in the morning. And, like, if that works for you, then that works for you.
Yeah, for sure.
But, like, just make sure that you also have time to do other things, because there's nothing more depressing than on a beautiful sunny day going into a dark studio and then just making dark beats all day.
Yeah.
Get some sun. Go out on a bike ride or something.
Yeah, that's what it's been nice being home for that reason, because I don't really have my studio. I have my laptop and, like, headphones.
Yeah.
But in LA, it's just, like, constant go, 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 go. And then coming here and being able to shut down and the whole industry shut down, and I can kind of forget about music. And it's been 3 weeks that I've only touched my laptop once.
See?
And I feel great. I'm ready to go back. Ready to make some songs that'll never come out.
Oh, that was deadly. So, yeah, that's what we have to say about that. Nick,
Yes.
is there one more that you want?
Yeah. It's either the last one or the second last one.
Hold on, let me see. Okay, I'm going to say the second last one.
Yeah.
So, how to basically stay on a streak when you finally get your due recognition. So basically, how to keep the momentum going when you get a big song, say, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, what's the second part of the question?
It's how important or unimportant it may be in the realm of producing. I don't understand. Yeah, how to stay relevant, how to keep the streak going.
Yeah. So, I mean, with me, when I got Ric Flair Drip, there was a lot of opportunity for me to travel and to follow up with that and all that kind of stuff. I was in school, so I didn't do it. And, I don't regret that, because I'm very happy I finished school.
Of course.
But if I wasn't in school, then yeah, as soon as Ric Flair Drip happened and people were like, come to Atlanta, work with this artist, I would have been there. LA, work with this artist. You got to basically, like we said before, strike while the iron is hot.
Yeah.
Your name is, if you have a manager and publisher, it's easier because they'll circulate your name. They'll get you in the conversations. If you're doing it by yourself, like we said, network. Get your name circulating with that record. Use that to get into rooms, and then that's how the momentum builds. If you have a manager, and then you sign a pub deal, say, off the record, it's easier. They're going to be talking about you. They're going to be putting you in rooms, and you have to go overtime on this. That, you know, that work-life balance that we just talked about, for a little bit, you're going to have to sacrifice that. You're going to have to be every day super grinding it out, and that's how you get to that. Like, if you really want to take it there, in my opinion, that's when you really got to go hard, when you got to kind of sacrifice that family time or that sleep time to just focus on producing for a month or two, like after that record comes out.
I feel like this has been like the past year and a half for the both of us.
Yeah. So like we've been going super hard.
Yeah.
But this year, hopefully, like in terms of right now on January 6th, that's by the time this episode comes out, it'll be like March probably. I will have already had a few releases come out that I'm very happy about.
Yeah.
And I'm looking right now, as I'm saying this, I'm looking forward to them coming out.
Yeah.
Because of that work that I put in these last couple of years. So say I wasn't in school, Students Ric Flair Jip Hits, I would have been everywhere I needed to be.
Yeah.
LA, Atlanta, I would not have stopped. And if the year goes right and I get another decently big one, hopefully fingers crossed, then that's going to be the situation. I'm not in school anymore. I'm going to be locked the hell in. And I think that's really the only thing I could say to do. Just put your head down and work.
Whatever it was that got you that due recognition, I would say play into it really heavily. Whatever it is that you did to be a part of that process, do that more, perfect that, because you did that well the first time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I got known for Body, and then everyone wanted dance records.
Yes.
So I said, you know what, let's work with every person that wants a dance record.
Yes.
And we just did sessions with, or I tried to do sessions with everyone I could, and tried to get my publisher or my management to reach out to everyone that had not a similar style, because I would hate to copy an artist and give that same sound to someone else, if you know what I mean. But just try and work with everyone in that same space.
Exactly.
And
then pivot from there. Yeah, exactly.
And then in the meantime, hopefully you get a big placement in a totally other genre.
Yeah.
That's my goal right now.
Yeah, me too.
Is I did a couple dance things. I would love to have something that's not dance.
Yeah, me too.
Whether it's hip hop, R&B, even a country song. Even, you know what I mean? I just want something else. So then people are like,
you're versatile, yeah. Look at the resume. Here, there, the next thing, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's what it is. It comes down to just put your head down and work. Just go hard, and then it'll come. If you're leveraging yourself properly, it'll come.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you for all the questions.
Yeah.
Everyone. Hopefully we get more by the next time this airs, and we'll do another episode like this. As always, thanks for listening and thanks for tuning in. Thumbs if you liked it, subs if you loved it. Shout out Dave2D on YouTube. He says that all the time, and I love that. Give us a thumbs up if you liked it. Give us a sub if you loved it. On Apple Music. Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
Yep, Spotify Podcasts.
Anywhere you listen to podcasts, we're there, obviously. Tell your friends about us, share it with your producer homies. I think that
our Instagram channel over the past couple months has gotten quite good feedback from the content that we're posting, and I want to thank you guys for liking that stuff. And we've just been kind of taking clips from the podcast, throwing them up on our Instagram.
Yeah, we've been getting
all the most important points we've had, and we've had a lot of people reach out saying thank you, and I just want to say thanks to
everyone for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much. And we're going to be having a lot of guests
coming up
right after this episode. No, we're not right after the next following episodes. There's going to be a lot of guests.
Yeah.
And there's going to be more guests. And then there's going to be more guests. And then there's going to be more guests.
So we're gearing up to have, like Nick said, we're going to have quite a few guests, a lot more topics, and more content coming. So again,
and I'm also going to learn how to not touch this thing while we're recording, because I hit it a million times.
That was episode 15. Thanks again, guys. Take care.
Bye.